He's always welcome to come whenever he wants to.
From the heart.
So, but like I said, he does his own thing, and you know, still has his own program. But I wanted to still let you know he's one of us, and I'm so honored that we were part of his life a while back, and I can't wait till he starts to do something again so we can jump back on board with it.
Well, make no mistake about it, he's always busy in the community.
I mean, know that.
Just because you don't see him in front of the TV camera doesn't mean that Sam's not working on something for somebody. I mean, all the work, the legal work he did for LAPA in the early days, in the early stages, as well as NAACP, as well as City Council and so many other organizations he's been a part of, where he did all the legal background research work to, to address a lot of the critical issues that we had impacting our community. He's been a stalwart, really magnificent powerhouse in our community for addressing a lot of the critical issues.
Yeah, I was just actually talking to Sam. We were in the mayor's office. He had a meeting this past Tuesday. Another one of the issues in our community is the voter suppression, the Voter Rights Act. The Supreme Court, we talked about it last week a little bit on the show. The Supreme Court is in session right now arguing if we need voters' rights still in this country, and we all know we do. So Sam was at the Mayor Williams had a press conference in Wilmington on Tuesday in regards to House Bill 9, which is going through Legislation Hall right now, and that's where I met Sam at. He's in support of that as well. And along with, we had a surprise guest. You brought up the NAACP like 3 times. It just so happens that Ben Jealous, the national president of the NAACP, was here. Came to Delaware for the first time in history. And here's a man that travels all over the world, all over the country. And he comes to Delaware for the first time just to lend his support on House Bill 9, which is the ex-felons' voters' rights. Here in Delaware also, ex-felon, he paid his debt to society, get released from jail, and then we all know how hard it is for them to integrate back into society as it pertains to jobs. They can't get jobs, can't go to school, everything's against them, and one of them is their right to vote, a basic right that all Americans have. And we know that we live in a country that believes in second chances. We all make mistakes. I don't think there's any one of us that hadn't in our lifetime. And you pay your debt to society and get out, and you're still being punished years in a year. I'll tell you, Delaware has a lot of, we lead the country in a lot of things, and one of them is the harshest ex-felon voter rights bill in the nation. And I think we're like number 3 on that one. You guys can look it up. This stuff you can Google nowadays. So, and we're in the thrones. House Representative, State Representative Hazel Plant introduced this bill, House Bill 9, before she passed a couple of years ago. And in order to change a law in Delaware, it has to go through legislature twice and pass twice. So it already passed one time, and right now we're on the second time. And Mayor Williams had a press conference on Tuesday for and Joe Biden, Vice President Joe Biden, made a phone call.
While you're talking, he sent me a letter.
Is that right?
A personal letter. He was supposed, and I won't go into it, but I will share that letter with you. And it didn't come from the president, because Mr. Roy said, I've never gotten it. It was a personal letter to me, and I'm very, honored that he would take the time.
Well, the Vice President Biden is very in touch with our community. He's from here. And he made a call that day on Tuesday when we were, Sam Guy was in presence of Williams, our Mayor Williams, and President NAACP, Ben Jealous, was all there, lending their support for the ex-felons' voters' rights. As I said earlier, we got one of the strongest penalties for ex-felons. When they leave jail, they pay their debt to society and they can't vote. So we want to make sure that they get that opportunity to vote. We don't want to suppress anybody's right to vote here in America. So that's what's going on now.
In the African-American community, that's had a really negative impact on our ability to find work and create and get jobs, and it plays a major role in our inability to get that economic boost, to get out of the basement when it comes to economic
Right. Okay. Now there's three things that keep touching my mind. Okay, and I want you to keep this. We got to allow ourselves time. I need some answers on this.
Okay.
One thing that bothers me so bad is the lady going to prison for the child that she tried to, you know, put in another school. I'm sure you know. I need understanding on that. I need to know. You know, I know what my feelings are, but I'm not going to go into my feelings. I want you to kind of briefly talk on it. I also want to talk more on these people that had, you know, passed, the entertainers. Give ourselves time for that. I also want to let Herman Holloway Jr. know that I listened to him. You know, because I had to do something last week, but we taped his program so I could listen to it. And he was saying, giving me the address and all for how we could help this young couple. Herman, I want to let you know that we're going to dress this young couple for Easter and do what we can. You know, I heard him say that the girl needed clothes. I don't have a problem with that. I can take her right to my favorite place, Boscov's, and dress her down.
Wow.
And and it doesn't cost a lot. I'm a sale person. I like the sales, and we'll do what we can for the young man, and then we'll do what we can to give pieces and bits and pieces of, you know, finances, because we know that Herman is. He mentioned also about tokens for the bus and how Carol Thornton was taking the couple back and forth, and we want to get together and kind of take the sweat. That's what these programs are about. Listening to one another, seeing the needs of one another, and seeing what we can do for one another.
And helping people.
Yes. Another person that I admire with all my heart, and I never have asked this person to come on because he has his own, which I love. That's Norman Oliver. I love Norman Oliver. I can't wait this Sunday night. I have learned so much from Mr. Oliver, and you know what I said to myself? I said it would be Christmas. And I guess you said, well, why don't you call him and invite him? He's such a well-grounded, down-to-earth person. I never had, maybe I was just kind of ashamed, but to see him come and sit with us on one of our programs would be like Christmas coming early. So I wanted to let Mr. Norman Oliver know I respect you and love you, and you know, I just enjoy all of what you do.
Storming
Yes, I really, really do. So if you ever want to come join us and give us some kind of, you know, some more of what we need to know.
Well, we've been on this show a couple of times, haven't we?
Yeah, but I haven't. He hasn't sit with us.
Okay.
I just want the pleasure and the honor of just sitting next to him, and you know, he's just such a.
I got you.
Stormin' Norman's another good individual.
And he's and I go back into the day when he worked down to on 40 with the children. You know, because one of my
Norman's classic basketball.
Yes, because my grandson was a part of that years ago. So
my son and nephew were part of it.
Yeah, he saved a lot of kids.
And then also my nephew. Logan, you know, my sister's son. He's had Logan on his program. That's my nephew. So again, I just want to shout out to Mr. Oliver. Anytime you ever want to come sit with us and just to grace our program, it would be such an honor, and I mean that from my heart. All right, let's go. I want you to start talking about these entertainers.
Well, I can give you a personal perspective. Damon Harris, who passed away a couple of weeks ago, was the first tenor for the Temptations. He beat me out of the spot. I had applied back in the late 60s when I heard that Eddie Kendricks was going to retire from the Temptations, and they were looking for a first tenor. I sent them some, not only bio of myself, but also sent them some demos, some demo tapes of me performing. And Damon Harris beat me out, you know, and I had never heard of him up until I was talking to a friend of mine who was from Baltimore, where he was from, Baltimore, Maryland, and he sent me some music. And then one of my singing partners, Garfield Jones, also had some music by a group called The Impacts, which Damon Harris was the lead singer for. They alternated leads, but he was their main lead singer. And he sang a song on there, I think it was written by Bobby Eli, called Man and Woman, which talked about Adam and Eve. You know, it was a cross between the R&B song and the gospel tune, because it told the history of Adam and Eve and what happened when they bit the apple and the trouble they got into with God on you know, disobeying his rules, you know. But it was the way he sang it as a first tenor was just beautiful, and I loved that song. I said if I ever had a chance, I was going to go back and record that, you know, because it was so beautiful. But then when he got with the Temptations, I was still kind of bitter, you know, because this is the guy that beat me out of the one opportunity I had to show, you know,
about forgiveness.
Yeah. So and then I saw them at Valley Forge. I saw him at Valley Forge with the Temptations, the Supremes. They were on the show together, and the Supremes sang, then the Temps sang, then they came out and did some songs together. And that was the first time I really got a chance to see his versatility. And he just blew my mind. I said, yeah, I can see why they picked him.
Well, in the intro, you went on to sing with the musical group Wish, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, yeah. And Wish, by itself, I'll call us the greatest unknown group in the world, because, I mean, we were on stages with the Temptations and the Four Tops and some of the legendary groups, and we held our own. You know, people talked about us just as much as they talked about them, because of the fact that, you know, we had the choreography, we had the dance moves and the harmonies, and if we were singing somebody else's songs, we were close, or if we were singing our own songs, we had our own unique sound. So people really loved, you know, we got standing ovations and, you know, encores, get called back to come out and do one more song, and we do that and leave, and they call us back again. And every place we went to perform around the country, whether it was the Peppermint Lounge or Symphony Hall or wherever it was, you know, Radio City or the library in Philly, wherever we performed, we always got invited back, you know.
If I'm not mistaken, you guys performed around countries around the world as well.
Yeah, well, our music, you know, in Japan, Europe, Japan, Spain, we went to the top of the charts in those countries, because our music was more popular and well known in Europe, Japan, and Germany than it was here in America. And it was funny because we were singing in like small clubs in, say, in East Orange, New Jersey, or in Wilmington, or we were #1 in Florida on the radio, you know. But in Europe, Japan, and Germany, we were still selling hundreds of thousands of copies of our tunes, you know. So it was mind blowing, you know, to know that we were so loved and respected overseas. My friend of mine from RCA Records sent me a copy of a record, 45. It was on wax then, you know. But he sent me a copy of one of our songs that had our picture on it, and on the back it had our bio, but it was all in Spanish, because he picked it up in Spain, in a record shop in Spain. So that was mind blowing to know that people all over the world knew your music, but people in your own hometown, a lot of your friends in your own hometown didn't, you know.
Well,
so.
with the advent of iTunes and Google, I bet some of your music's still out there. We can look it up on the internet. What's some of your greatest hits?
And hopefully they'll come to see us.
Absolutely.
Maybe
What's some of your hits?
Well, the biggest hit we ever had was a song called Mr. DJ, and we sold 100,000 copies of that on the RCA label in Europe, Japan, and Germany, like I said. And America didn't do bad. It did better when we went on tour with Kiss 100 radio station.
Yes, I remember that.
We were on tour with them in Boston, and Philly, and New York, doing a lot of the late night talk shows and that kind of. And after that, then our music really started to climb, you know, because people had an opportunity to see us. I think, Marva, I brought a videotape of us performing on one of those shows one time. Yeah.
And so that's when
one of those shows.
That's when you were singing with musical groups. But I understand now you're solo now.
Yeah, yeah. I left in 2006. I left mainly to write more, and I wanted to look at some of the younger artists to see if I could help them develop their talent, so to kind of help them get out there, because we have a tremendous amount of talent. And I was really torn between moving to California and just focusing on producing and writing, or staying here in Wilmington and looking at younger artists who maybe needed some help getting developed, so that they could go to that next stage, you know, go beyond Star Search and some of those other shows.
You have a recording studio, don't you?
Well, I had a recording studio.
Will Smith Productions?
Will Hit Productions.
Will Hit Productions.
So I have a production company now.
And that's how you.
Well, listen, I'm not going to interrupt you, Jill, but you got another song to sing. You got a question for me to get some kind of. I need to feel some, you know.
Yeah,
I've been feeling kind of uneasy about this. The judge had sentenced this woman to 12 years. I've been feeling, and like I said, I'm not going to go into me right now, but I want you to talk just a little bit about this, if you can and will. I want you to sing the song. Then we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come right. And I want you, the main purpose, and I'm going to ask the camera people, and I want to thank the camera people so much.
They're doing a fine
They really
job,
put up.
They're doing an outstanding job.
They really put up with this chick. And a couple weeks ago, Troy said, one of the other camera guys, I forget who his name is, he said that we're used to you. And we had so many people. Troy got there, bless his little heart, and did push-ups. Keisha, no, he knew how to prepare for this one. But let me tell you what he did. He worked it.
All right.
He worked it.
I think one of the most difficult things for a camera person or to do in the recording studio, in the TV studio, is to film or a live performance of an artist.
Right.
You know, that's tough. You know,
especially when
you got to get the sound balance and you got to get the microphones balanced.
That's right.
And all
they have a tough job.
And a lot of times,
and then if they're moving or dancing or whatever, you got to follow them with the cameras. So that's difficult.
But then sometimes when I bring guests on, I don't know. You know, the different ones, they bring other people on, and sometimes I don't even know how many's coming on. When a couple of weeks ago, I was just. And I just felt, and what's her name, Dina, Keisha, Alban, Troy, the other young man that sits here, and the other, there's two more, I don't really know their names, but they all get
Jay.
Jay, are you kidding?
Yeah, they're doing a great job.
They all get together as a unit and make it happen.
Behind the scenes, you don't know
you
what's
know
going on
over
behind
there,
the
young
scenes.
lady?
Put these shows
They
together.
make it happen, viewers. That's what they do.
I really feel comfortable being here, and it's a more comfortable environment for me than saying going to ABC or CBS or whatever, and you're performing in front of the major cameras, and you know billions of people are watching you out here when you step out on the stage. But in this environment, you feel so relaxed that when you get to that level, it's not that big a deal.
Well, we got to take a short break. Now, what did you want to say? Because we got to promote his. I want to ask the camera people to put on his thing for the Elks. March 29th, is it?
March the 29th.
Yes.
You know, just a little teeny bit of history. The Elks have been working on this project for over 10 years.
Right.
And being in the African American community, at that time being president of the planning councils, we said we needed more economic development in our community, and we need to find projects and programs that are going on, Marva, that would help our community grow economically, socially, politically,
what's the
and
project
spiritually.
you're working on?
Well, it's a building, the Elks building, and we bought into that as a community. We said we will help you. We will help the Elks, but we want to buy into it as well. So what we did, we came up with $60,000 to invest in the building initially, and we got office space out of that, a place for the community to come in and meet and discuss issues and do economic development.
And where is the building located?
It's 800 East 13th Street. It's just across the river. Matter of fact, it's right on the river.
And that's where you're doing. That's where you're doing your next performance.
I was there a couple of weeks ago. I was there on a Friday night, and Alfie Moss and Dexter Kuntz came in on Saturday night. They were right behind me, and I had a dynamite time over there. Beautiful setting, beautiful background.
But Mr. Lance, I want you to get ready and go get yourself prepared for this next song, because this is a very important song. And behind this song, I want to let the viewers know that we have Pastor Tommy Mae Byer won't be on today, but there'll be a tape of hers. And we're going to be in the green room and kind of bring the prayer line. And I want to tell you about this lady. She's the real deal. With no disrespect, she's God. She's of God. She's a woman of God. And when you ask her to pray, you better believe that something's going to happen.
Marva, I was in Pennsylvania this week. I missed the funeral of Judge Lawyer Lenny Williams, who was a great man and somebody who I had an opportunity to work with and meet over the years. You know, fantastic. Also, Harmon Carey Sr. Harmon Carey Jr. is well known throughout our community, but I don't know if too many people knew his dad, who are young, young.
The man behind the man.
Exactly.
I love to hear Mr. Carey.
And I wanted to do a dedication to both those guys.
All right, and I love to hear Mr. Carey talk. I mean, when I come on, he's sitting on them Sunday mornings. He just takes, you're just right into,
Right.
He's inspiring. He does a lot of work in our community for sure.
All right, we're going to ask you to get prepared to sing your song.
Okay. And Shauna, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Shauna Roy. Happy birthday to you.
From the heart, straight to you.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Congo family and the Congo Funeral Home have been a caring part of this community. We have cared for you in life, and we have cared for you in death, whether through our seniors cookouts, our youth citywide cleanups, our support of community events, or our care for families during the loss of a loved one. The Congo family has always been there. When death occurs, whether after a prolonged illness or after a sudden tragedy, it is always devastating to those left behind. And Sammy, Cherry, Kimmy, Trippy, Kia, and the entire Congo staff are always there to assist you in any way we can. From the very first phone call to long after the funeral service, we promise to be there for you. Our mission is to serve every family with dignity, respect, and care. We know the economic stress of today, so no matter what your financial circumstance, we pledge to help you celebrate your loved one's memory in the way you desire. So remember, when someone you love has passed away, call Congo Funeral Home, Delaware's premier funeral home. Visit us at our website at www.congofuneralhome.com or call us at 302-652-8887.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to From the Heart with Marva Richardson. And we're going to go straight to Mr. Lance Bruce for his rendition of the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory
Right now.
That's kind of breathtaking. I'm kind of emotional. That's
I am
breathtaking.
Too. Man, I've seen that tear coming, but it's all good.
Listen,
good job,
it is. It's wonderful. I just can't use it. You've got a voice. I'm telling you. And when we praise people all over the world, the celebrities, and you know, we got it right here.
Absolutely.
We actually got it right here. Mr. Lance, do you realize how valuable you are?
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah. So you know, when Mr. Lance has time to, he knows if he tries to get lost. There was a time he tried to get lost on us, and I had concerns. We put him out as lost. And then it was a lost and found.
Yeah, actually, I was traveling a bit.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
but you know,
in
but listen,
Vegas and places like that.
But we, pardon me, we are going to. I was just talking to you, and I said I don't want you to answer the question because I like things raw from the heart about the lady that got the 12 years. He doesn't. He's not aware of it, so we won't talk on that.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether you were aware of it. So if not, we won't touch.
Yeah, I was, but I thought it was more politics than anything else, Marva,
really?
Because they really didn't have to be that harsh.
That's
on
what
that
I was
lady.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think it was more politics. And in some states, depending on who's in charge of stuff, you know. You have those kind of situations, you know. It's all over America. In certain areas, you have injustices done to certain groups or certain people that may not in other states be the same. It depends on the judges you get. Depends on the political affiliations, whether it's Republican or Democrat or whatever. You know, some folk are harsher on you know, the poor and the vulnerable.
Right. Justice isn't fair all the time, and that's why we fight so hard in civil rights to make sure that we have a level playing field.
Yeah. That's why you have organizations like the NAACP and
today's
others who
show,
are out here.
yeah, we gave a lot of prayer, a lot of forgiveness. We're asking for it. Lance just gave a great rendition of the Lord's Prayer, and you know, I just want to give a shout out to the brothers and sisters, the freedom fighters that are out there in out in Alabama, Selma, Alabama. This week in history, 48 years ago, is what we called a Bloody Sunday, where civil rights leaders from all over the nations they marched for 50 miles. They got to a bridge, the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and before they were met by all kind of hostility, violence, and the dogs of Sigurd. Just that's why they call it Bloody Sunday. Just for they were walking just for our rights to vote, the freedom rights, the voter rights, and they got it at that time. And now they're trying to take it back. So my closing remarks, I want to shout out to them and give them some props and say keep up the good fight so that we don't have to worry about these inequities in the justice system.
Yeah. And we could go on and on because once you start to talk, and I could just listen forever. But our time keeps winding us up.
I know we need another
We
show.
got a half a second, and we got to give this last tribute. I am determined. I want this song is dedicated to Mr. Donnell Gillespie of Harold Melvin's Blue Notes. Viewers, have a great day. We'll see you in 3 weeks. In the meantime, you've got a thought, and then we're going to go on with track 9. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Mr. You go.
Just join me on March the 29th at the Elks place on 800 East 13th Street. Tickets are $20 for that event. Dinner's included in that event, and it's mainly for the community folks to come out and support something that you fought so hard to make happen. You know, those people that tell us we can't do this.